Okay, guys, we're back with lesson 1-6. I can write that better than that. 1-6. And today we're talking about time signature. Okay, this is the biggie. This is the one that makes all the other stuff that you've learned before now fall into place. Okay? So, let's get started. This one's going to be a long one. Get your popcorn and settle in. Time signature. Every piece of music has a time signature. If it doesn't, it's some weird modern atonal randomness. Don't even sweat it. Okay, so let's start with what it is. So let's just keep it short because we don't need a lot of staff for this one. We can do a lot of this off staff, which I don't know, my lines are pretty good today. May work out here. Oh, that one's a little close. Good enough. Dear Educations, please make a line marker tool. Thank you. Said all the Prim students ever. All right, so a time signature. You have a clef, and we use treble clef because I'm a trumpet player and treble clef rules. And then you have a time signature. There's something else that goes here, but we're not going to get into it right now. Okay, so a time signature. And it goes right here, time signature. Could have just drawn an arrow up there, but I don't want to mess with my time. Time signature. Okay, now what is a time signature? Well, let's look into it. Time signature is two numbers, and they tell you its definition is kind of included in the numbers, so there's not a formal definition. It's going to be more telling you what it is. Other music teachers who have, gobs more experience may have some formal definition. We're keeping it simple because this is music learning in the time of coronavirus. So this is how we're going. Okay, so time signature. Number on top, number on bottom. All right, top number. Number, I'll write real clear here, of beats per measure. Ta-da! Okay. Now, there are two definitions. There is the Broom definition, and then there's everybody else's definition. Broom definition is what you're going with because you're in Broom's class. Others may disagree and tell you another definition. I'm going to give you this one. Number of beats of the whole note. Okay? Now here's why. Remember that diagram I made back in section 1-4 when you talked about types of notes? And the diagram said whole note is equal to two half notes, and then it had the two quarter notes off each half note, and then it had the eighth notes off of the quarter notes, etc. This is where that is going to link up. Okay? An argument can be made that I should put this section before that, but it should all be taught together. That's why we're doing 4 sections this week. It's one big lump, one big unit. So, number of beats of the whole note. So let's take that into an example. If our whole note, in this case, gets 4, well, from what we learned in section 1-4a, that means that the half note gets half of the whole note. So what's half? Yes, 2. Very good. If you didn't say 2, do your math wrong. What's half of 4? 2. If you don't know that, give me 4. I'll have $4 and I'll give you half of it, and we'll see how that works out. Okay. What's half of 2? Good. 1. So that gives us 1, and that's your quarter note. What's half of that? Right, 1/2. Okay. If you miss those, go back and do it again and figure out why. Each one gets half of that. Now, because I have a video and because I am literally talking to a captive audience, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you the other definition. Okay. Each number on the bottom has a different thing that tells you what gets one beat. 4 means the quarter note gets one beat. If there's a 2 on the bottom, it means the half note gets one beat. You still end up doing this math. So for me, this definition's a little bit better. It just starts everything with the whole note and you have to figure it out. And over years of practice, you just learn it. It becomes second nature. It's like learning how to use pronouns. You just know you look at a guy, that's a he. You look at a girl, that's a she. Same thing. You just learn your pronouns and it becomes rote rather than specifics. Okay? So, having said all of that, here's what happens. We have all of these. That gives you the number of beats per measure. and then the number of beats of the whole note. So let's assume that here we have two measures, right? And what can we put in them? Well, we can put in a whole note, or we can put in a half note and two quarter notes, or even a half note, a quarter note. I can't draw that skinny right now, so we'll just do another quarter note. You could put two eighth notes. Each measure must add up to 4. 4. 2 plus 1 plus 1 equals 4. Some of your exercises this coming week will be, is this measure correct? I will draw them informative and ask you, is this measure correct? Is this measure correct? Is this measure correct? And you will have to tell me yes or no. Because of your limited technology at this time and everybody can't do the same thing, I will not have any show your work. But if you were in class on the iPads, I would have you drawing a staff, drawing measures, and making your own measures with notes. I would tell you, make a measure where there's at least a half note and a quarter note, and you'd get the other one. You could put in a quarter note, quarter rest, and that brings me to rests. Rests are the same thing. So again, just like we drew last night or yesterday, I made the videos last night. So for me, it's last night. For you, it's whenever you're watching this. So that's how time signature works. Now, what numbers can go in the time signature? I'm glad you asked. Well, you didn't ask, I asked, but you get the point. What numbers? Okay, top. Any number can go there. Usually 1 through 15. I don't know why I drew the parentheses. Let me get rid of that. Usually 1 through 15. Let me just rewrite it. Oh, bloody miracles. Okay, so any usually 1 through 15. Okay. Why? Because when you get beyond 15 beats in a measure, you're getting into experimental forms of music that really you're not going to see unless you go to college, and even then, maybe not even until like master's degree level. Don't worry about it. Top numbers 1 through 15. Do I see every number through 1 through 15? The ones I usually haven't seen in my experience are 8 on top, 10, a little, no, I've seen 11, 8, 10, 12, 14, and 13. I have seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've seen 9, 11, 15, and 17. I have seen 17, but it's rare. So that's your top. Bottom. Number of, let me not use the abbreviation. Number of beats. Up. Hang on. Lost it. Let me redo that. Let me start that over. Bottom number. I gave you the definition. I screwed up. I'm leaving this in because I want you to understand that even teachers make mistakes and we have to think about it. I want it to feel like class where you see me go, oh, missed it. So bottom number. It can be 1, 2, 4, 8, or 16. Now, why can it be those numbers? It should look familiar. There are 5 types of notes. Can it be other numbers? Yes. Do you need to know them? Not till college. Bottom number can be 1, 2, 4, 8, or 16 for your purposes. I haven't even taught you what the 16 is, but I want you to know those 5 numbers. Okay? That means that the whole note will either get 1 beat, 2 beats, 4 beats, 8 beats, or 16 beats. That also means that if it's a 1, the whole note gets 1 beat. The half note gets a whole beat if it's a 2. Let me get the arrow up. 1 beat for the whole note. Half note gets 1 beat. Quarter note gets 1 beat. Eighth note gets 1 beat. The other thing. All of that is about time signature. So let's do a quick review. Time signature. The best thing I can tell you to remember. Oop, maybe turn the pen on. 2 numbers. Top number of beats per measure. That is a hard rule. It cannot be changed or moved. All the time, number of beats per measure, no matter what. Bottom, number of beats in the whole note. So what I want you to go back and do now is before you take your formative test, I'm going to try to put some exercises up this week for you to practice this, okay? Easy multiple choice assessments, just to make sure you know what you're doing. I want you to go watch this video again, because I know you didn't watch it nor anything this time, because it's like, unless you've done this for a long time, you're back, huh? And that's okay. It's exactly how it should feel. If you didn't understand it the first time, you are like most people. This is the hardest concept of music to learn early on. That's okay. So go back, review this again, then go back, watch 1-4A, come back and watch this again, and go back and forth a couple times, because those two link up. 1-4B and 5 on rest and the dot are accessories. This one ties into 1-4 directly. Okay? All right. So, again, review, study, over and over and over till you know you got it right. Okay? Escoba signing off.